Alright, so moving on, let's take a closer look at Christian from this battle pack. Now Christian in his head sculpt here, I'm not fond of this facial expression. It's a little too smiley. For some reason his nose just looks a little wide to me, I don't know why. But if you take this kind of like side view from it, it definitely has, from this perspective, it has the profile of Christian, right? But dead on in the front, it just seems a little off. I don't know why. Now the hair color at the top here doesn't look too bad, but in the beard, it seems kind of off as well. So looking at the body, Christian's built more on the average side, so he's not really ripped. So this is good definition where he gets a little bit of the abs showing, but not too much. The arms, I think, are a little too thin. These arms seem a little too small, in my opinion here. He gets the one fist and the open hand for an accessory. Standard legs. Now he wears his knee pads under his tights, I believe. And I think they do a good job bringing out the definition in the knee as if he was wearing them too. And they also make it so when he bends his leg, it doesn't have like kind of a pointy edge on the outside of it. It looks really good here, and also the small details of the wrinkling in the tights look very nice. Standard boots as well. So let's go back to this paint job. This face, it doesn't look real bad, but I don't know if it's the expression or what's off to me. If you can figure it out, post in the comments. The hair doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's got like that tiny little poof that he has in the front. And granted, these might be a little bit better if they had shading in the hair to bring out a little bit more of that texturing in the sculpt. But I think in the paint, in the face, it needs to be like a little darker. Give it more of a 5 o'clock shadow look. I don't believe he dyes his facial hair, so it seems a little off to me to have his hair and his facial hair the same color. Eyebrows obviously here are a darker shade. And this tattoo over here doesn't look too bad. Could be a little bit better, but these are still basic figures. So there's always room for improvement in the elite figures. My elbow pad for some reason on this figure seems to slide off a little bit, and I think some of that has to do with the way these figures get posed in the packaging. And I think he was holding this elbow bent so long in the packaging that now when you straighten it out, it's kind of contoured to that bend and gave it this loose sort of sleeve now. So that's something to be wary of. The tights look really good. Mattel does such a great job at recreating wrestlers' tights and attires. This paint job looks really good. It's got that little reflective quality to it as well. A little glossy look. And you get along here his name, Christian, all the way to the front and all the way around. Very nice. I love even the small details on here, like the wrinkles right under, I guess you could say, like this little leg butt crease area. Pretty much other than that, besides the red and the gold here, it's just all single color black across, you know, the tights, the elbow pads, the wrists, and the boots, with that same reflective sheen that we see in the skin tone, which is very nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at articulation here. We get a rotate all the way around on the head. Has a little bit of a nod, and a full rotation on the shoulder here with a little back and forth play there. and a bicep swivel. There it is. A bend at the elbow. See, this elbow pad slips so far down, I can show you it right there. The joint seems to be a little loose, probably without the elbow pad. Swivel or rotate all the way around at the wrist here with a bend. A little stiff. I feel like if I try to bend it too much, this peg might pop out. And we get a swivel all the way around, right at the torso, front and back, at the top of the leg, bend at the knee, and a rotate at the top of the boot, and a bend back and forth at the ankle. No ankle pivots. So I have seen better Christians, but I mean, it's a decent figure for a great battle pack. And if not for anything else, the Randy Orton is the new first of its kind for such a great head scan. So if you don't like Christian, pick it up for Randy Orton.
Overall, the new Randy Orton head sculpt alone makes this battle pack a must-buy. The likeness is near perfect. Small details like the shape of his hairline, texturing of the beard, yes, that's right, I said texturing, not just paint like the previous renditions of Randy Orton, make this the Randy Orton figure to own right now. Some collectors might even opt to utilize this new head sculpt on an elite Randy Orton body. And speaking of the body, the one thing I am not a fan of in basic WWE figures is the lack of detail in terms of tattoos. Granted, they did their best in capturing the arm and back tattoos of Randy Orton, but to me they look very dark. Tattoos fade with time, and they should be far more opaque than what we observe here. Randy Orton has a lot of tattoos on his arms, and it would be difficult to capture them all, but some of the more bolder tattoos, like the tribal ones, get lost amongst all the others with the same dark color. I think a little more consideration can be done for tattoo design, but I know Mattel does a great job at continuously making improvements, so perhaps in time. Mattel does a great job with the tires in recreating popular ones, but sometimes the cuts at the trunks for articulation can affect the display of some designs. It appears that on the back of Randy's trunks, we lost a bit of the R in Orton. It's a minor imperfection, but one to consider. I've sat and studied the profile of the Christian head sculpt, and honestly, I can say the likeness is pretty good. However, I feel like the paint application for his hair and facial hair doesn't bring out its best qualities. I think Christian's hair color might be too hard to capture in one paint application. It almost looks as if a light amount of shading would help, but since these are only basic figures, we'll have to hold out for some of the more advanced detailing from an elite version. I think I would have preferred a different facial expression for Christian, perhaps a smug sort of look that we saw him sporting on the front of the packaging. I would have also liked to have seen Christian's wristbands just be a tad bit longer, along with a small amount of white trim on the edges, but once again, that's just wishful thinking for small details that are executed more in the Elite series. While I wish Christian came in a more of a spray-on tan skin tone, I find this average one acceptable as well. I think the design on Christian's tights are brilliantly recreated, and this is the sort of work that Mattel continues to strive in. They never seem to fail in this area. For me, when I saw this battle pack on the store shelf, I knew instantly it was one I had to own. Relive all the action from their feud during the summer of 2011. For more great reviews, be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube. I'm Mark, and this has been another Way Cool Review.
Hey, Kay, what are you doing? What are you watching this guy for? I don't know if you knew this, but I'm the rightful #1 contender to the title ship. Don't care. You don't care. You don't care. Well, guess what? You can't see around me now. Yeah. You gotta deal with it. #1 contender. Get out of the way. Keep watching Randy Orton. Watching him for anyway. Look at him. piece of crap.
So you agree?
Definitely. Yeah.
You know what else I hate about Randy Orton?
What's that?
His theme.
The theme. Definitely. I mean, how arrogant.
Yeah. It's garbage.
It's definitely garbage.
Yeah. I mean... I hear voices in my head.
They counsel me.
They understand.
They talk to me.
They tell me things that I will do.
They show me things I do to you.
They talk to me.
They talk to me.
They talk to me. I hear voices crying.
I see heroes dying.
I taste the blood that's drying.
I feel tension rising.
It's good time. Good time, crazy.
Yeah. It's garbage.
Definitely. Good garbage.